So anger is a bad counselor. So in Baltimore today, a video emerged on social media showing a man being attacked by another man as he crossed the street. So why is this normal now? We just accept it. We look away. No marching, no protest, nothing. Why isn't this denounced or spoken up against? I think I know why, but that's for later in the video. I'm going to show you the video, so it's pretty graphic, so just letting you know, look away if you can't take it.
Oh, dang.
Man walking across the street, another man sneaks up behind him, slams him in the back of the head with a brick, which resulted in the man falling face first to the sidewalk. The victim happened to be white, the perpetrator happened to be black. So there you have it. It's the world we're living in now. And then, of course, it sounds like whoever was recording it, they sound like some kids. But you never know nowadays. Of course, immaturity comes in all ages. And oh yeah, icing on the cake, before they took it down off of social media, because of course they posted it to social media, they hashtagged the video, white lives don't matter, which is very confusing to me. But I'm going to touch on that in a minute. But before I do that, I want to show you another video, and then we're going to sum it up with some points of clarity. This is just as graphic, but it's the video isn't that clear, so this is the video where Michael Forrest, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name. I don't want to jack his name up. Not that I care, but 48 years old, Antifa supporter, member under investigation by police in Portland, not arrested yet in connection with Saturday's shooting of Aaron J., I think it's Danielson, a white man. Both men were white, and they were saying Danielson was a Trump supporter, which wasn't or hasn't been confirmed yet. Not that it should matter, although he was a Blue Lives Matter supporter. Apparently he had a flag or something, which shouldn't matter either. Nobody should be killed because they don't agree with ideology or have a different political view of someone else. So what does this have to do with the other video? What does one video have to do with the other? One is a black on white attack, which so far it seems not to have been fatal. And then the other is a white on white attack, which ended up being fatal. What do they have to do with each other? Well, here's the point of clarity. Out of both incidents, first of all, both incidents were purely evil. Michael Forrest is a known confessed Antifa member whom he says his sole goal is to overthrow the government, tear it down, quote unquote, which some would say closely aligns with BLM. Maybe that's why they tolerate each other. I don't know. He says that there are and this is exactly what he says, and I quote, there are so many of us that are protesters that are just protesting without a clue or of where that will lead. That's just the beginning, he says. That's where the fight starts. If that's as far as you can take it, thank you for your participation. But please stand aside and support the ones that are willing to fight. I am 100% Antifa all the way, quote unquote. My question is this. To so many of my family members, friends, and colleagues, acquaintances, do you really know where this movement is going? Do you really know where this protesting will lead? If it will really lead to change? Or some would ask, has it really led to change? You protesting online through social media, activism, Do you really know who you are standing side by side with? Who or what you're standing up for? I know what the moniker says. I know what the advertisement says. Social injustice, inequality, police abuse, and all this sounds good. But remember what the Apostle Paul says. All things are lawful, but not expedient. All things are permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Just because I can, that don't mean I should. Just because I can use my social media to speak up against injustices doesn't mean I should. And I know that doesn't sound good. But here's my point, or here's the point of clarity. Especially when it's prompting up false narratives and lies. It sounds like there's two different agendas here. And again, I'm not even talking to the hardliners, those itching for destruction. I know your heart has been hardened and you're not going to hear me. I'm talking to you so-called peaceful protesters. You know, the moderates who I see peacefully protesting on the videos while they're standing around while it's on and popping all around them. You know, you're the ones usually standing around getting out of the way while the other people are literally fighting and tearing up. You know what I mean? I'm talking about those of the household of faith. That's who I'm talking to, that continue to support directly or indirectly this energy that doesn't supposed to support your belief system by continuing to place at the foot of the big bad pink man hate and dysfunction, and all the while not placing it at the feet of the participants. Like they deserve some responsibility too. If we're going to do that, are there no honest-minded kingdom people anymore? I'm talking about what's being demonstrated clearly, so clear a blind man could see it. How do you know you're supporting the right movement? The good book says, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of the sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scoffers. We taking advice from wickedness. We taking advice from angry people. And this is the way we're going. We're standing right alongside a willful sin. How am I doing that? Posting and co-signing the energy of hatred and refusing to call it out. Wherever it may show up, wherever it may turn up, with whomever color it has taken up residence with. Men of God, women of God, who subscribe to this principle that love conquers all, or at least at some point you did, but you don't anymore. I don't know. You only can bring yourself to call it out when it's demonstrated against the narrative of racism or one-sided racism, white on black, because there is racism on the opposite side. Even if we agree to disagree on the notion of people being angry, or if it's justified or not, how can anger be a good counselor? We listening to it. We co-signing it by not saying nothing about it. There is a right way and a wrong way to do things. What was considered wrong back in the day is right now. People are using the grace of God to indulge, and you are aiding and abetting. You're gassing them up. On your timeline, refusing to hold to these truths. Hold people accountable. Certain people anyway. Those foundational spiritual truths that mark you as a kingdom citizen. But you should know better. Proverbs 29 says, scornful people inflame a city, but those who are wise turn away wrath. Is that not what's literally happening right now? Instead, on your timeline, you're not even denouncing it or speaking against it. We justifying it. We co-signing it. Wrong is wrong. When I used to do dirt, we called it dirt back in the day. but it was wrong. But I knew it was wrong. Why? Because there were people around me that challenged me, that held me accountable, my behavior, my warped sense of reality, warped principles, mom, family members. I even had a homeboy who did it, and he was younger than me. Shout out to D-Ball. What's up, man? But we don't say nothing. We just look at it happening and say it's mostly peaceful. That every idle word that man should speak, they should give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by the words thou should be justified, and by thy words thou should be condemned. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram are a part of every single word. And we all will have to give an account for it. We talking about stroking division. There is a divide. The divide between moral character and common decency and wickedness. If you can speak up against the wickedness of racism, you could speak up against the wickedness of any other movement that is not compatible with the kingdom principle. Anything that has an opposing view to the kingdom. If you are of the kingdom, if you have a kingdom mindset, they have an opposing view. You can't align yourself with something that has an opposing view, that doesn't support the kingdom principles and foundational truth. They fight against forgiveness, the ideal of redemption, deliverance, personal accountability and responsibility. Galatians 6:5, for each one will bear his own load, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each one may recompense for his own deeds in the body. Each one gonna be held accountable for his own deeds, according to what he's done, whether good or bad. I can't blame nobody else for the decisions that I made. Why is there a broad brush of racism painted over every imperfection and shortcoming and plight of humanity? But there's no broad brush or even inequality. But there's no broad brush painted over imperfections as a whole. This is a stumbling block for many of us. And many of us are participating in it. How are you advocating more against racism than you are against sin? And again, I'm only speaking to the kingdom-minded people. I have to be honest with you, man. A lot of this stuff don't make no sense to me. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means. I myself, as Paul said, have not apprehended, but forgetting those things of the past and looking towards those things that lie ahead. I'm constantly on the path of improvement, development. But I don't see that in this movement. You know what I see? Quicksand. I see stagnant quicksand where people are they're stuck. They're stuck in unforgiveness. They're stuck in bitterness. They're stuck in wrath. They're stuck like all these things that don't move us forward. Am I the only one seeing it? Am I tripping? Y'all comment in the comment section below and let me know, am I tripping? Because I've been talking to God about this and I just don't see it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I need people. Let me specify this. I need kingdom-minded people to speak up against this foolishness. Real talk. This ain't about being perfect. If you're a child of God, you're a part of the kingdom, and you see this and you co-signing it, you're just as guilty as they are. Comment in the comment section again. Don't forget to like and share the video. Click on the bell notification so you can be notified every time I post a video. Again, we got to have this conversation. We got to challenge one another. It's time for us to take it to another level in personal accountability and responsibility. If we don't do it, nobody's going to do it. You guys take care.